a time where legacies are forged or forgotten. Everyone has something to gain, but who has the most to gain? Well, thanks for asking. Nick has compiled a list of who has the most to gain in this segment we call Most to Gain.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. As always, Kevin Wildes. We can get right into it. Number 8, two guys. Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper are number 8. The wingmen for potentially for Wemby's reign over the league. And again, the timelines aren't exact on this, but the Magic and Worthy to Kareem, Magic ended up taking over. How about Jones and Kuzi for Bill Russell? Again, Kuzi was already great. Yep. But the all-time legendary big with two guys, he's going to need guards. He's going to need guys to, play alongside him. They're all 22 or under. Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper being champions. Harper is a rookie, no less, when so much of this year's discussion about the rookie class was Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Edgecombe even had his moments at times. Dylan Harper maybe gets a ring. Number 7, Mike Brown. What a unique coaching history for Mike Brown. He's LeBron's coaching Cleveland. He's LeBron's coaching Cleveland, and then he gets fired pre-decision, potentially because the Cavs thought it would make LeBron more likely to say LeBron was leaving anyway. Then he does well his first year in LA. 5 games into it, they're like, get out of here. We want to bring in Mike D'Antoni. That didn't work out. Goes back to Cleveland, doesn't work, and then almost a decade, not as a head coach, in Golden State, winning championships, helping Steve Kerr, but also learning from Steve Kerr on the offensive side of the ball, I think is fair to say, while helping them handle all those personalities and build a dominant defense, to where he gets a head coaching job in Sacramento and does great, so they fire him because they're the Kings. And now he's in New York in what was, again, this has been a little glossed over. The Knicks coaching search last year after firing Tibbs was mocked. They kept going after coaches with jobs, remember?
Yep.
And it was like, oh, wait, you want to hire Jason Kidd has a job. You want to hire him, he has a job. Did you fire Tibbs without a plan? And Mike Brown being hired was not met with resounding applause. It seemed like they settled, at least publicly.
And he had so many jobs.
Right, and people were surprised by it because he had, and so Mike Brown to become a champion. Number 6, Greg Popovich. This is a little unfair to Mitch Johnson, but blame the broadcast, because I hear more about Greg Popovich and his phone calls and his tarmac meetings and his stern talking tos than I do Mitch Johnson ever. Also, most rings as a head coach or executive. Red Auerbach has a smooth 16.
Nice.
Probably nobody's getting there. Phil has 11. Jerry West has 8. Pat Riley has 5. This would be Pop's 6th. Jerry did his with multiple franchises, as did Pat Riley. So Pop would join only Red Auerbach join Red Auerbach as someone that did it with one franchise, 2 different roles. And it seems like his, as you said, this is a continuing part of the Pop Duncan Spurs. Great take, KW. Number 5, Jay Wright and Rick Brunson. Wow. There will be a lot of Villanova Knicks stuff if they win the championship, since they won a championship, some of them, and at least one championship together for Hart, Bridges, and Jalen Brunson. And Rick Brunson, who was a legend at Summer League, let me tell you. I think that video, of him coaching young Jalen Brunson, which, a lot of that is, I'll be honest, results-oriented. If Jalen Brunson was a mailman right now, people would be like, that video might send him to therapy. but because he's who he is, it's like, man, your dad really helped you out. Rick Brunson and Jay Wright. Number 4, Karl-Anthony Towns. This was a little predicated on a topic that we were supposed to do an hour ago, but we didn't have time for. Brew has a hot Karl-Anthony Towns take. I don't want to step on it, so I will table why I have him as high as I do until Brew goes. Number 3, speaking of Brew, Chris Broussard.
Wow.
KW.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Brew discovered Wemby.
Nobody was talking about it.
I went to Paris.
He went to France. It was him and Brian Windhorst. They were like, you know what? They actually went there. Everybody else was watching Zachary Ricochet, and they were like, no. You guys watch Alex Sarr. I'm watching that guy. In all seriousness, Brew, a few years ago, got partially misquoted and then decided, you know what, screw it.
It was an epic moment.
I'll run with it.
It was an epic moment.
That's what you
It's like,
think.
I don't care. I'm not going to fight it. Yeah, I do think that.
About Wemby's floor being better than Akeem Olajuwon. Something like that again. Now I'm misquoting it as well. But the point is, Brew planted his flag and then planted it even deeper. And unlike me and KW, going into these playoffs said Spurs are going to do it. They're ready right now, 4 wins away.
Huge win.
Speaking of Wemby, he's number 2. I would argue he is not yet Brew. Again, if the path to being the GOAT is a marathon, I would argue right now he is a touch, just a touch, behind pace.
Wow.
But in 4 games, he would be considerably ahead of pace. 4 more wins.
I have a great
The-
conversation coming up.
Okay, I'm excited for it.
Holy cow.
He's already the face of the league, which is why he's not like oddly, and it's a compliment, he doesn't have as much to gain as he would have 3 months ago, because I think a lot of it was gained in that game 1 of the conference finals, where the 30-foot shot, winning that game, beating OKC, he took a lot of what he could take from these playoffs already. So he's number 2. Number 1, I think, unequivocally, is Jalen Brunson. I believe the best small guys in league history right now are Steph, Zeke, Chris Paul, AI, and Steve Nash. I think those are the 5 best small guys.
Stockton.
Stockton.
I'll put Stockton
ahead of
Nash.
Nash. That's right. That's probably right. That's why, by the way, that's why it's not a graphic. I'm just saying it. I'm kind of doing it a little off the top of my head. But even if you include Stockton, the only guys there that have rings are Steph and Zeke. Brunson would join them. He's an all-time playoff riser already. Yeah. I think he's 4 wins away from him being the answer to the best American player. I think he's. I do think that. I think that. Yeah, I've got to give that to him if they win this championship.
No, I mean it's.
And I think, Brew, he's 4 wins away from being. I don't know if people care about this. Behind Joker and only Joker for the best second-round picks in league history. And so, and again, I don't know how many people care about that distinction. Manu's high on there. I think Hal Greer was a second-round pick. But again, KW's going to get.
No, that's being kicked around in a lot of bars.
But
turn that up. They're talking about second round. They're talking about Hal Greer.
All that said, he has the most to gain.
Well, I do agree with you that he has the most to gain. Wemby obviously would gain a ton, but Brunson sends him into a stratosphere none of us thought he'd get to.
Yes.
I got a bonus take before I get to Cat. You broached it. I'm gonna replace Pop with Mitch Johnson.
Okay.
Because Mitch would be, you win a ring. I know we've seen guys fired, right. But he'd be a made man. And here's the thing. In San Antonio, they're a more stable franchise.
Yes.
They're not gonna just fire. Now, I wouldn't expect him to have bad years.
Yeah.
I guess if he had a terrible year, he could get fired. But,
yes.
They're going to give him some rope and stability and all that. So I think it'd be huge for him. So my take on Cat, and I have to throw someone else in too.
Oh, what's why it's a bonus take?
I think winning this championship would make Karl-Anthony Towns and Mike Brown Hall of Famers.
Mike Brown?
Yes. Mike Brown has coached 10 full seasons, like 82-game seasons. He's coached 10 full seasons. Only 1 losing record. 8 times he's taken his teams to the playoffs in those 10 years. Like you said, he resurrected the Kings. 2 times to the finals. And if he wins this, the first championship in New York, everything in New York is magnified. Right?
Yeah.
In 53 years, he's getting in. I mean, he's getting in. It's New York. He's getting in. And Cat, similar. Look, I've said, and I think, Nick, you remember this, I've said before, like midway through the season, I think, Cat's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. His resume, 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, 23-11 for his career. On 52% shooting, basically 40% from three. It's like 39.7 percentage from three. 84% from the foul line. So he's 52, 40, and 84 for his career. On 22 and 11, throw in again the first championship in New York history in 53 years. Right. So I think Cat and Mike Brown become Hall of Famers if they win this.
Okay, can I respond to the Cat piece of it? Because we were gonna do a little something on Cat earlier, so I had something prepared. Because sadly, the NBA Hall of Fame has become so watered down, in my opinion, the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, I should say, that calling a guy a Hall of Famer doesn't have the resonance it should. It's almost like insulting. Right. It's like, what do you mean he's not a Hall of Famer? Is almost a more stunning conversation. So here's how I want to frame it. Don't put the graphic up yet. I think for large portions of Cat's career, he's been considered not a disappointment, but a bit of an underachiever. Do you think
disappointment might not be too strong.
I disappoint again.
Very good, but not
right because number one pick, the pedigree, all of that. Our favorite, that NBA GM poll we do every year that they've been running forever.
Weren't there a few times?
There was at least one year he won amongst the 30 GMs in basketball. What player in the league would you want to start a franchise with? And I think because of that, he has been considered an underachiever to a degree. So I then said, if they win the title, if we looked at the last 20 number one overall picks, how does Cat stack up? And I think it reframes it a bit. So now you can throw the graphic up if you could, Dust. I think there's only, and Cooper Flagg is, again, a projection, obviously. But in the last 20 years, the only 4 number one picks that definitively better than Cat: Anthony Davis, Wemby, I think Anthony Edwards, and again, Flagg is obviously a huge projection, but I would be surprised. Have an argument about those 5 guys: Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, Kyrie Irving, Cade Cunningham, and Paolo. Again, for Cade and Paolo, I'm giving them
Rose
a wider berth.
But
but Rose, the injury.
Kyrie is.
But again,
I guess we can if you want to have an argument about it.
That's why I said it's arguable. And I think Cat already has more All-NBAs than Kyrie, would have the same number of rings, would be, again.
And Kyrie, I think, is a certain Hall of Fame.
Yes. But again, and clearly better than those 10 guys. And so I just think it reframes, how disappointing, if you will, was he or wasn't he?
I'm glad you brought that up because I wrote that down too. Like, Cat's reputation or image would get a total overhaul.
Yes.
You mentioned disappointing or a bit of an underachiever. At times he's been viewed as soft.
Yeah.
He's been viewed as silly,
Moody.
like with his little fouls, bad fouls, like in the backcourt, just, somebody got a rebound. So I think all of that goes away if he is the second best player and a star on a championship team.
Does it against Wemby.
Yeah, absolutely. So
right, is that all you have, or do you have something?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was the.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about the Mike Brown?
I don't. I'm going to be I want to be honest with the audience. I don't have a good grasp on what the prerequisites are for making the Basketball Hall of Fame as a coach. Like, I don't even know off the top of my head who all the Hall of Fame coaches are. I don't really totally understand with coaches, like, how long do you have to be retired? Like, can they? So I don't know. I'm going to trust you on it.
You get some Olympic credit in there.
Right. I haven't spent really any time looking at
Olympic
Hall of Fame coaches or executives in the NBA. But I like it. If you believe it, I
off-season project. I originally had friendship, but Dusty's like, we can't put concepts on most of games.
Also, that might be one of the cool stats coming up later with Danny.
Friendship?
I would imagine. You know what's cool?
Friendship?
I would imagine.
Oh, is it really?
I have no idea, but it seems up his alley.
So I just put Villanova on.
Definitely a possibility.
3 reasons, and then in a very interesting take. Number 1.
Okay.
Obviously, the Villanova Knicks. They're selling. I would tell you this. I went to the diner the other day after a lacrosse tournament. Guy sitting there, I guess he went to Villanova, had a Villanova Knicks hat on. Said Knicks on the front, Villanova on the side. They really make them now. I said, look at this guy, lucky that he went to Villanova. don't make any LaSalle Knicks hats. I don't have anybody. I guess Legler's calling the game. So boom, we should make those. Number 2, the Pope. Huge Villanova Pope bounce. Class of 73, I think.
Wow.
I didn't know the Pope went to.
You didn't know the Pope went to
I
Villanova?
knew the Pope was a White Sox fan, Chicago guy,
Yep.
has some spicy takes. I didn't know he went to Villanova.
Great takes.
Yeah.
All right, and the final one. This is a little bit of a cousin to your take about who would it be better for, the Knicks or the Spurs. Do you think that GMs, I'll switch this, GMs should, if the Knicks win this, prioritize chemistry and friendship rather than the fantasy basketball analytics world that they've been assembling teams for?
Wow.
Where you see that Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson really like each other and really vibe well together. And you'll see it pop up in little moments on the court. I didn't pull the video, but there'll be points where I'm like, that they've been playing, like Jalen will go to the corner and kind of get trapped and just throw a nice little, not even a highlight pass behind his back, and Mikal will be there to grab it. I just think that we've seen so many teams collapse because of bad chemistry, bad vibes, Kevin Durant Rockets, that I think we should, on the flip side, also don't treat it as a nice story. Treat it as actually an element that needs to be considered
I think
more.
it has to be weighed, but even the Villanova Knicks, we were just talking about Towns. One of the reasons they got Towns was they knifed one of the Knicks in the back and sent him to Minnesota.
Four is too many.
Yeah.
4 is too many. Do you want to hear trivia? Nah, we'll just do. You want to hear trivia or not?
Trivia, quick. Then we have most to lose.
Quick trivia. It's not trivia. I'll just tell you.
Okay.
Bill Russell, Casey Jones, the most successful college to pro championship duo.
8 championships together?
8 championships together, 2 at the University of San Francisco, and
So is that 10 total?
a gold medal in 1956. Pretty good. Dusty's yelling at me. Well, I'm sorry,
and also
Dust.
Pope Leo was class of 77.
Oh, sorry.
Just so you know.
Got that wrong. You can't have rainbows without a little bit of rain, unfortunately. Time for the most to lose list.
These hurt. I don't like to do this, but we got to do it. Number 5 on most to lose. No matter who wins this championship, he has a lot to lose. The answer is Luka Doncic. Number 5 on most to lose.
Bingo.
Wow.
Another guy in his 20s with a ring, not him. Either whether it's Wemby or Jalen Brunson. Luka was supposed to be the international guy that could challenge Akeem for the greatest international player of all time. Wemby is, kind of taken that from him. And if Brunson wins, people are going to absolutely recreate history on how good Jalen Brunson was on the Mavs.
Well, when Luka was out in games in Utah,
I think there'll be some fairness.
I'm going to need more than 60 seconds.
There'll be some fairness to it.
Number 4, Chet.
Oh.
Long summer gets even longer. Again, no matter who wins. If Wemby wins, that's your arch rival hoisting the championship.
Maybe he does to Cat what he did to Chet. That would help.
No, because then you're seeing your hated rival win.
Not just me.
But the flip side is that, all right, Wemby loses. Yes, I'm happy he loses. But that means Cat and Mitchell Robinson were able to do what you couldn't do, which is stifle this French
It's a rough
monster.
one for Chet.
So either way, it's tough. Number 3, Dynasty Discourse has the most to lose if the Knicks win. Mm-hmm. Because we went from OKC is going to have a dynasty to, all right, well, that's fine. It's not going to be OKC. It's going to be the Spurs. And the OKC only won 1. The Spurs dynasty discourse might not even get to 1. It might be at 0. It might be a 2-week discourse if the Knicks win. All right, don't reveal this one yet.
I hope so.
If we're going to say Wemby is on a GOAT trajectory.
I think it's fair to ask.
And then there's only one person who would lose out if Wemby becomes the GOAT. At number 2, most to lose, LeBron James. And at number 1, the most to lose.
That was well done.
America.
What the heck?
Listen, Giannis and Joker, I can deal with. Appreciate the humble beginnings. They weren't great immediately. Their stories, Giannis talks about, selling stuff on the street for his family. Joker's from Eastern Europe, riding horses, rags to riches. If the last 2 NBA champions are this Canadian fashion icon and this Frenchman. It's not good for our sport. We invented this sport. This is America's sport. And I'll tell you what's not going to happen. I'll tell you, what certainly I can't deal with is if Wemby and another international team wins the title in the midst of, maybe if America wins the World Cup, it'll be okay. But that's probably not going to happen. Wow. We're not stealing soccer from France. So in other words, America needs the Knicks to win.
Wow.
Am I correct?
Took a real turn.
Yeah,
there, to be honest with you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.